It is like 27 degrees outside. And I got a little hot chocolate. I put on my, hey Winnie, I put on my favorite hoodie and my jacket. No, I gotta do this. I want to talk to you about something going on in the security industry. This is a big deal, and I think it's probably about to explode. The industry's about to implode, not explode, implode. So I got a call earlier from a customer of mine. We have one of their locations, and a company called ADS has another one of their locations. And ADS, no ma'am, I gotta talk to these people. ADS just got purchased by a company called Vector. You are needy, aren't you? ADS just got purchased by a company called Vector Security. And apparently what's happening now is they used to get a live call. So they would have an alarm, they'd have something go off, they'd have a security system go off, they'd have a fire alarm go off, and within a few minutes they get a call. And since Vector has taken over, apparently what's happened is they've gone out, no, they've gone out to automated calls. The automated calls are the problem because he said sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's a half an hour. And so he called me today and said, hey, you've been your local company, you've always taken good care of us. No ma'am. And I want to talk about switching our other system over to you all. I'm thinking, why hadn't you done it in the first place anyway? You've been a customer for like 5 years. But when he told me that, we actually have another company. We have another company that is like a sister company to us. It's called Single Source Management. Do telecom expense management for large companies all over the United States. Biggest customer, I think, is Tractor Supply. Quite a few healthcare companies. We manage, no ma'am, no. We manage like 5,000 different platforms through there. So, we're pretty connected to corporate America, to a lot of other corporations. But anyway, this is our small company, the security company. I got a call today from that customer, and what he told me was eerily familiar with a couple of other conversations I've had over the last 6 months to a year. And so I started thinking, is this an industry-wide problem? So conversation about 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago. Hot chocolate, I love hot chocolate. So conversation about 2 weeks ago was another customer, new customer, said, hey, I hate ADT. And we're looking for another company to support us. Can you take over our equipment? I watched one of your videos. Can you take over the ADT equipment? And I said, well, I don't really know. What you need to do is email us at info@securityallstar.com or sales@securityallstar.com. Send us a picture of your keyboard and panel. We'll look at it, evaluate it, see if it's something we can take over. Quite often, ADT has private branded the same equipment that we've used for years. So anyway, they sent us over the information. We're still waiting to see if they're going to become, oh no, they are a customer now. Yeah, they are a customer now. So we took over their ADT system, and it was a relatively simple process. But they told us in the middle of taking it over that they had had service calls scheduled with ADT over and over and over and over again. Like 5 times ADT had missed service calls. And so that is something that I've been hearing for about 1.5 years now, that ADT will schedule service calls, the technician won't show up. ADT will service calls, technician won't show up. Apparently, ADS alarms, which is sold now to Vector, apparently they're having some of the same issues where people are not showing up. Now, you can say what you want. Vivint Security, Vivint, those of you who've seen the channel know I do not care how I pronounce it, went through a name change maybe close to a decade ago now because they had such a bad reputation for doing and completing service calls. So in the past year, not only have we had a bunch of Vivint agents come into our office, get their background checks in for the state licensing, but we've had a number of their customers call us and say, hey, I've watched your old videos on Vivint, your new videos on Vivint. Can you take over the Vivint system? I have to explain to them, look, you have a proprietary system. If you had the old Vivint systems, they had, they used 2 gig, I believe is what they used. Those systems we could take over, but the new ones are proprietary. they've really kind of done this on purpose. You know, they don't, your unsuspecting buyer who's getting a security system for the first time, or even maybe had bought one before, they don't understand that no one else can monitor the newer Vivint systems. Like it's a proprietary system. It's like buying a car that you can only drive on 2% of the roads. And so no one can take over a Vivint system. So if you've had that thing for 3 years, you've paid that, you know, let's say $60 a month faithfully, or you paid that $3,000 up front and you pay $45 a month faithfully. At the end of that 3 years, if you want to go somewhere else, they're going to keep you, they're going to hold you to it. They're going to make you stay as a customer, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere else. So I think the writing is, I'm telling you all this to tell you that I think the writing is on the wall. These big companies are having some real issues, and here's what's happened post the Demic Pan, something like swap that around so they don't get shadow banned on this. Post that world, they're having a very, and I don't really feel sorry for these big companies for not seeing this coming, but I saw this coming a decade ago. Not that I'm brilliant or anything. Maybe God just dropped it on you. God says He'll drop things on your heart, you know, that you need to ponder and consider. So over a decade ago, I saw this coming. I knew that the workforce was going to diminish. Our skilled workforce was going to diminish. People were going to have a harder time hiring skilled people for jobs. And I believe this is what's happening with ADT and Vector, and formerly ADS, now Vector, and Preventia Security here in Tennessee, which is, I think they're maybe outside of, maybe Kentucky also now. Preventia's gotten a little bit bigger company. I had Preventia customers come into our security store where we sell guns and personal defense gear and firearms, that kind of stuff, and they're griping and complaining, hey, I had Preventia as a provider, and I can't get anybody to come out and service my system. And matter of fact, there's a really good local company they bought. I forget the gentleman's name. He ran for mayor here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I'll try to post it, or once I come and do the video, I'll be able to put the name of that. But they were a pretty good family-owned security company. They ran service calls well. They had a good reputation. Then Preventia came in and bought them. Now people can't get service, so they're paying the monthly monitoring. They're paying for the system, but they're telling us we cannot get service. So here's what I think God laid this on my heart, maybe 10 or 12 years ago, that as the workforce and skilled labor diminished, we were going to have a model that worked better with what was coming. And so for residential, now this is not commercial. We do commercial all over the place, from Canada, British Virgin Islands, American Virgin Islands, all over the U.S. We do some security everywhere. But for residential primarily, I knew that the model was going to have to change. It was going to have to change to a do-it-yourself model, DIY model. But I'm not talking about the garbage that you buy at Sam's or Costco or those places. I mean, that stuff really is, or Amazon sells some junk now. It's all had security breaches. It's all had problems with people hacking into it. It misses so many of the features and functions that security systems need to really be a secure security system. And so I'm not talking about those systems. I'm talking about, having a truly dual military grade encrypted system that allows you, when it comes out of the box, you know how to put it up, you know where to put it up, things are labeled, things are already active, the panel's active. The hardest thing that our customers have to do when something gets to their house or gets out of the box is they've got to take the cameras, they've got to push a WPS button on their router, and they got to push a WPS button on the camera and let the two attach. In a perfect world, that happens 95% of the time. It goes off without a hitch. Occasionally, we do have some customers that have just technology is not completely ubiquitous across all platforms. So you may have a Netgear that doesn't work with a Cisco or those types of things. But for the most part, it works seamlessly and flawlessly. So when we saw this coming about 10 or 12 years ago, when I saw it coming, and I really believe it was probably an inspired thing, I was keenly aware of what was getting ready to take place in the marketplace. Apparently, ADT has a 10% attrition of their customers a year. Monotronics, who was a huge security company, I mean, we were a Monotronics reseller almost 20 years ago. Monotronics, they filed bankruptcy or Chapter 11 or 13. They got bought by someone else. So we've watched that security industry start to implode and lose a lot of customers, not only because they're frustrated, but because they haven't planned for the DIY market. So I will have to give a little bit of kudos to like the Simply Safes and the Rings and those things, and the fact that they have focused on customers' needs as far as a DIY security system. Now, I have a lot of qualms whether or not it's really secure, whether or not, you know, it's got the kind of encryption it needs, because we hear horrible stories. Just Google them or go to YouTube and look at them. Horrible stories of people's things being hacked. We're not going to rip you off. A number of other security companies out there can monitor our equipment. If you don't want to use us, okay? Let's say you want to use, and I can't blame you for this, right? You're in Dallas and you want to buy from a company in Dallas. I would recommend two pieces of equipment. I would recommend either Qualsys equipment, which is great. It's like the industry leader, or I would recommend Honeywell. There's a couple of other things out there that I just don't care for. Those two are the easiest and friendliest to use out of those two, mainly Qualsys. If you do want a DIY system and you're, you know, currently or formerly a Vector, ADS, ADT, Vivint customer, just go to our website. I'll put the link below the website. Type in custom in the search, and custom will bring up right now one option. This is, what's today? Today's November 1st, 2023. It'll bring up one option so you can custom make or custom put together your own security system, and you can pick your monitoring. When it gets to your place and it comes out of the boxes, it's ready to roll. It doesn't take a genius. I had this customer, I can't say his name. I won't say customer's name, but I had this one customer out in California, 77 years old now, put in his own system, not technical at all. When he finally got it done, he called me. He's like, I got it done. I got it figured out. He was so proud of himself. You can do this. You can do this on your own. You don't need to pay $60, $70, $80, $90 a month. A real reasonable monitoring plan per month is just under $40 with video, with, you know, doorbells and that kind of stuff. Be smart. Be a good buyer, and don't get bit. Don't get bit by ADT, ADS, Vector, those other companies that are having some really hard time going through what's happening with the DIY market. They didn't prepare for it. We appreciate our customers. We appreciate the viewers. Would you please do us a favor? Like and subscribe. That's what makes me be able to do this. Even if it's a few views every channel or every video on the channel, it's okay. I know people are getting the information because we're getting called about it, and we really do care about you, and we want to help you as much as we possibly can. Thank you for being a subscriber. Click that button below and like us as well.